Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and it is so good to finally be back on YouTube. I know I kind of disappeared for the past week or so before I start today's video, I'm just going to give you a quick explanation on what's been going on recently. But yeah, so as many of you know, I got an internship with JP Morgan, which is one of the largest banking corporations in America, and it's been a really awesome experience. To get an internship with them in high school, especially a paid one like the one I have, is really rare, but I was lucky enough to get one with them, and I've been learning a lot about the industry, which is really awesome. I've been working pretty hard, and all the people I've met there are incredibly wise, smart, obviously, and it's just an incredible work environment, honestly, but it's one that I have to obviously put a lot of my time and effort into because I want to get the best experience out of it. So I work from 9 to 5 on all the weekdays, and it also means that my commute there is really long, so I basically leave the house by 7:30 and I get home at 7:30, so spend just as much time out of the house as I do in. And in my free time recently, I've been practicing a lot for VGC Nationals, which is taking place in 2 weekends. Obviously, I'd love to do well. I don't have, I don't have to try too hard because I have my Worlds invite already, but I'd still really love to do well, especially because they're streaming the entire competition on twitch.tv/Pokemon. I'd love to be on stream again. Last year was an incredible experience at Worlds, and I lost last year, so it'd be great to, redeem my loss and win on stream this year. But definitely follow Pokemon's Twitch channel if you don't already. That's going to be July 4th weekend in just 2 weekends, and I'll be there competing, so it should be an awesome time. I've also been playing in the June International Wi-Fi tournament, which a lot of you guys have asked about. The reason why I have not been streaming or posting videos from there is because I'm testing a couple of things that I might want to use at Nationals, and I want to keep it as private as possible. I will probably post some videos after Nationals and talk to you guys about the team. I'm doing pretty well right now, a record of 32-8, so I've won 80% of my games, rating of over 1800, which for me is a pretty good benchmark, should be good enough already for, say, top 16 in America, but I might actually go for that #1 place if the time allows me to, and if I play well in my last 20 games. But yeah, if you guys want updates on that, obviously follow me on Twitter if you don't already, at CybertronVGC. Anyway, that's basically it. So, basically my life right now is interning and practicing for Nationals in my spare time. But you guys definitely deserve more VGC 14 content, and I've finally been able to, figure out time management in terms of all of this. This last week was tiring, but I should be able to bring you more daily content now. So obviously show your support for the videos and series by liking the videos. That means a lot to me, and it knows that it means to me that you guys still want to see this on a daily basis. So obviously show that like button some love. But enough of that. I've been talking for the last 2.5 minutes. Let's finally get into what you came here for, another VGC 14 battle. This is actually a really good battle I had against Ryan. He is a YouTuber as well. Definitely check out his channel in the description below. He has a ton of videos up. He's a really awesome guy, does a lot of VGC stuff, and he definitely deserves more subscribers than he currently has because he puts a lot of time and passion into what he does, and he's a pretty good battler as well. You'll see that he's using Rhydon, Trevenant, Scrafty, and Charizard. The two he did not bring were, I believe, Mr. Mime and Kecleon. I used Mega Venusaur, Scizor, Aerodactyl, and Rotom Wash. The two I did not bring were Mega Charizard X and Miltank. So all Pokemon I've used before, wanted to go with the Charizard Venusaur bluff again. Now, Ryan's team you may recognize because Squirtle, a user on Nugget Bridge, top cut 2 regionals this year with 5 of the 6 same Pokemon. Ryan, I believe, got rid of Exploud for Kecleon, but otherwise it's basically the same, so I knew what to expect going in. I expected the Trick Room obviously set up from Trevenant and from Mr. Mime. Kind of expected Charizard to be really slow, since on the original team, I believe it was much slower than your normal Charizard. So without further ado, let's finally get into this match. I kind of put the team on a whim that I used, so I realized I didn't have a very good way to counter Trick Room when I started the game, and that was a big concern for me. I had to figure something out on the fly, and I figured to myself, okay, Scizor has always been a great way to beat Trick Room, mainly because of priority. Sure, you can set up your Trick Room, but if I get a Swords Dance up, then, I'll still be able to outspeed you, but things don't go too well, as he leads Scrafty and Charizard against my Scizor and Venusaur. This really could not have gone out any worse, to be quite honest, especially because my Venusaur is not carrying Fake Out. Protect. I'm running Synthesis, Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, and Sleep Powder. So, normally a good moveset, but in this first turn, slightly concerning because if he just Fake Outs me and, say, Heat Waves, or Overheats, that's really the main move I'm watching out for, then I'll be in a lot of trouble. I'm going to bring in Aerodactyl here because I know I can actually just Rock Slide the following turn to outspeed and KO the Charizard, and it, gives me a lot of swing and momentum. I need Scizor to conserve, basically to beat the Trick Room match, and now I'm in a better position, but it really depends on what he does the first turn. The Fake Out comes out, and he targets Aerodactyl, which is really good for me. I'm silently fist pumping at this point because it means I'll be able to actually get a Sleep Powder off. Surprisingly, he goes for a Flamethrower instead of, say, a Heat Wave, which is what I was honestly expecting. So I do get a Sleep Powder, but it misses, which is really unfortunate. You know, Charizard protects this turn, and this is a really, you know, obvious move, to be quite honest, but I still go for the Rock Slide. Reason being, if he protects with Charizard, and, you know, that means the Scrafty won't be able to KO Venusaur. Venusaur will be able to get Synthesis, which I mentioned earlier, up, which is really good in healing back basically all its HP, and if Charizard obviously doesn't protect, then I just KO it. So the Ice Punch comes out, and now I'm really worried, but he targets Venusaur instead, which I was kind of surprised to see, to be quite honest. I don't know what was the decision-making in that play, but obviously I'm going to take that any day. He's going to switch out Charizard, another good play on his end, obviously because he wants to conserve his Mega Pokemon, the really best Pokemon in this matchup. I go for another Rock Slide, just, you know, same thing as last time. If you switch out, then you're going to give me momentum, and if you don't, then that's fine. Sleep Powder misses once again, which really blows. Would have loved to hit that one. Obviously, Sleep Powder's accuracy is not very good, but missing 2 in a row is rather demoralizing, especially because it would have helped both times majorly. I thought the Scrafty was carrying a Lum Berry originally, but I wanted to still burn the berry. I go for the Sky Drop here, but he protects with Trevenant. Now, I am carrying a Sky Drop. I got rid of Wide Guard for it because I thought it would be a better move to use on this team. Probably should have done it on Scrafty earlier on in the match. Instead, I get a Giga Drain off it, and he Drain Punches my Aerodactyl, and I lose Aerodactyl right away to the Scrafty, which is really bad for me. I really should have conserved the Aerodactyl better, mainly because it's an excellent way to directly one-hit KO the Charizard. So, now I'm concerned, because the 3 Pokemon I have are Scizor, Venusaur, and Rotom Wash, and none of those do too hot against Charizard. Now here, I say to myself, okay, Scrafty's not going to do anything, right? So, how do I win this match? How do I beat that Charizard? I figure, okay, if I Swords Dance with Scizor maybe once or twice, then I can potentially bait him to KO the one of the 2 Pokemon that I have on the field and get a Bullet Punch and Sludge Bomb KO. A +4 Bullet Punch against a Charizard will definitely bring him under half, so if I get another Swords Dance up, then I can bait him. You know, I expect him to not have Heat Wave since he didn't go for that the first turn. Now this turn plays out perfectly. The Will-O-Wisp goes into my Scizor, but I do carry the Lum Berry, and Trick Room doesn't even go up, as Scrafty protects itself as well. So it could not have asked for a better turn this time around. And I know I am now in the position to actually potentially get another Swords Dance up. However, I do want to pick up the KO on Trevenant this turn. I don't want to, you know, risk getting burned because that's going to ruin my entire game plan at this point. So I go for the X-Scissor onto it and another Sleep Powder. My 3rd Sleep Powder is finally going to connect, and it is going to put that Scrafty to sleep. That is really good for me. I was kind of expecting Lum Berry, but he actually doesn't have Lum Berry, so that's even, you know, better for me. X-Scissor's not going to do too much to this Eviolighted Rhydon, but still enough to knock it out with a Bullet Punch or a Giga Drain. Now here he protects, and I say to myself, okay, if he protects, then I'll be able to just get another free Swords Dance up with Scizor. If not, then I'll KO it with Giga Drain. Scrafty, of course, actually has a chance of waking up this turn, but it's relatively small since he only took 1 turn of sleep. But he actually does wake up, which is not good for me. Meaning he'll be able to get that Drain Punch off against Scizor, doing around 33%, a decent amount. But I've now accomplished what I've been seeking to do. I said to myself, if I want to beat the Charizard, I need to +4 Scizor, and that's exactly what I managed to pull off. Now it's just kind of him making the move that I expect him to. I go for the Giga Drain here onto the Rhydon switch in, or the Trevenant, which switched in for Rhydon, which was a really good play on my opponent's end, you know, getting in Trevenant safely. I do go for the X-Scissor onto Scrafty, and at +4, that's going to be able to knock it out, and he reveals the Rocky Helmet. Really interesting item. Was not anticipating that at all. I don't think it's actually the best item on Scrafty, to be quite honest. I really think Lum Berry is better, but it, you know, helped him out. Got some chip damage off there. Now he brings in Charizard, and I say to myself, alright, it's time to activate that game plan. You know, I'm not in a bad position. I can Bullet Punch and Sludge Bomb it, and if he, you know, doesn't protect with Charizard and, say, Trick Rooms with Trevenant, then I'll be able to outslow it in Trick Room. And this plays out perfectly. This is exactly what I was expecting to happen. I go for the Bullet Punch. He's not going to be able to knock me out, either of my Pokemon, surprisingly, because he doesn't carry Heat Wave. That's why I really think you need Heat Wave on Charizard, to be quite honest. And I am able to knock him out with the Sludge Bomb, as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp onto Scizor, but Scizor's done what it's needed. I needed that +4 Bullet Punch against the Charizard, and I got it. You know, I had Rotom Wash as my last one, so it wouldn't have been in a worse, you know, that bad of a position, even if he got a, say, Heat Wave off, but the entire time it was playing knowing that I'd have the priority with Scizor, so that, and that he wouldn't be able to KO my Venusaur. So now I'm in an excellent position. It's basically really hard to lose at this point with a Scizor +4, of course burned, but still more attack than it normally would have, and a Venusaur that basically has Sun up for Synthesis as well. He's going to protect with Trevenant, but at this point, I know to myself that Venusaur is actually going to win me the game 1-on-3. So even without Scizor or Venusaur, Scizor or Rotom, I'd still be able to clutch it out. But obviously, having 3 on against his 2 is just huge. He goes for a Rock Slide with Rhydon, and it's going to miss the Scizor, unfortunately, on his end. It does a surprising amount to Venusaur, but Venusaur isn't that bulky in terms of normal defense. The miss definitely hurt him, but Rotom Wash basically had the game sealed up anyway, since I could just, Sludge Bomb and Hydro Pump. Harvest continues to activate, obviously, because of the Sun, which is currently out, but Trevenant basically won't be doing anything, and at this point, the game is locked up. He's going to protect with his Rhydon, which is perfectly fine with me, because I did go for the X-Scissor onto the Trevenant. And so X-Scissor is able to connect with that Trevenant, and it is able to knock it out, even though I am burned. So game is 3-1 now, and obviously a Venusaur and a Scizor is going to be a Rhydon any day. So despite how poor the game started for me, it was all about making a game plan. For me, it was about setting up with Scizor, getting that Scizor enough to the point where he would not be able to KO. If you KO'd one of my 2 Pokemon in Venusaur and Scizor, I'd still be able to KO the Mega Charizard, and Charizard was really the big threat. So things work out perfectly, and I take the 3-0 win. So, surprising comeback, honestly, after how poorly the first couple of turns started. But yeah, that was a really fun game. Props to Ryan. I don't think I played as well as I could have in the beginning, but ended up playing out alright, mainly because I had a game plan and executed it well. But yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, guys. Once again, I'm really happy to be back. I've missed you all greatly. Obviously, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, peace.